Great to be back on the Final Five, and this week's theme, not surprisingly, is things said in footy that come back to bite you. Everybody remembers what Ed Langdon said. We don't need to hear it again, but let's listen to a fresh-faced, rather brash young full forward on the Footy Show many years ago.
I don't believe Richardson will play. I mean, he's only been out for 2 or 3 weeks with that fracture on his arm.
Yeah, we've worked out which arm it is, and if he does play, he might not play for another 10 weeks, I think.
Lloydy, so what do you reckon? Puts the arms up, there might be a bit of a whack.
I think we might bring Dean Wallace in for this game too.
OK.
So, Cara, I was told that was the first time I was ever on the show that night. And I reckon Eddie said, get in early, make sure you've got things to say. And after I said, Eddie said, you've heard it first, folks. Matthew Lloyd said, Essendon are going to target Matthew Richardson.
Did it come back to bite you?
Yes, Paul Broderick, the coin toss happened. I walked past Paul Broderick, who was part of Richmond's midfield. He said, you won't walk off the field today, you'll be carried off Big Mouth, and a few expletives. And then as I got to full forward, I turned around, big Paul Bullis with the long hair just ran straight through me. And it was the toughest day I've ever had to get through it. Terry Wallace had pinned that up on the board before Richmond had to play. So
it was only entertainment, mate.
I said nothing for about the next 15 years.
It was a very cheeky win. Eddie Maguire was president of Collingwood when he had this to say about another footy club's coach.
If you're Mark Legiudice, you'd probably be having breakfast in the next little period of time with Alistair Clarkson, wouldn't you? I reckon he's doing a really good job at the moment.
Brendan Bolton,
but Carlton's a big club. Carlton's a big club and it needs a big personality again.
Well, they did eventually sit down with Alistair Clarkson. That didn't go down too well with the Blue Baggers, did it?
Well, I turned up to the Carlton game. It was their home game, and I was sitting across from Brendan Bolton's wife, who actually got a photo with me in a headlock. You gave me a belting, did you?
I gave you.
I did say he was doing a really good job.
I said he was doing a good job.
Replace him.
They asked me what was going on at Carlton, and you know what? I knew that they were having a go. Bucks had a go at me as well. He wanted to have a go. You know, football departments all get antsy. The Pies won anyway. They played really well that day. They did lift, I think, for Brendan Bolton, who's now down at Collingwood. So he's found his natural home. That was always the plan, to get him to Collingwood.
Oh, it was brilliantly done, Ed. You're a Machiavellian character. Ross, as a coach, you must remember this famous comment from Lee Matthews.
Predator movie that Arnie Schwarzenegger starred in, and there was this alien monster from out of space that was killing all these people in the South American jungle, and all of a sudden they shot this monster and they discovered it bled. And Arnie's classic line was, if it bleeds, we can kill it. And we reckon Essendon can bleed.
Oh,
well, you got to love that. You got to love that. But to give it context, they were actually 3-6 themselves. They've been smacked by Carlton at Princess Park. Essendon were the reigning premiers. They'd won 20 home and away games the year before. They were 8-1, looking invincible, and Lee came out with that famous line. So they were vulnerable. Brisbane got it done, and they went on to win the next 13 games in a row after that, all the way to the flag and start the three-peat.
And speaking of Essendon, Kevin Sheedy always had a bit to say, and this was a famous one regarding the North Melbourne Kangaroos.
I mean, I don't mind taking criticism from good, strong North Melbourne people like Aylett or Cheatley or, you know, players like ex-players. But to listen to Dawson to me, he'd be a pink marshmallow, Dawson. And Miller would be a white marshmallow. I mean, that's about where I see those two softies.
The marshmallows are flying out here at the moment, Bruce. A few are hitting Kevin, but luckily they're very soft.
So that was
the marshmallow
I did. That was 1998. It was the 1v8 system. We were 8th. They were first. She's just threw it out there because he didn't think we were much of a chance and sparked the crowd.
That was fantastic.
We lost by about 4 goals.
It was great theatre. Well, Mark Dorsey's good Broadmeadows boy. Dorsey's, he used to have a horse, and my mum used to go over and get it and give me pony rides around when he went to school.
Ed was lucky they weren't throwing Peking ducks anyway.
But Ed, this
is the big one, Cara.
This is a big one. It'll take you back to the ABC's Offsiders after Hawthorn had beaten Geelong in a grand final.
What they don't have, I don't think, is the quality of some of our players, but they don't have the psychological drive that we have. We've beaten Geelong when it mattered over the last 5 years.
People have a crack at Ed Langdon. Geelong won the next 9 in a row after that. 9 in a row. You don't
it was a curse, wasn't it?
And he never admitted it, Jeff Kennett, but it was a pretty dumb thing to say.
But you know what, you've got to say that it's good fun to have all the battles of wits and
you know,
things
the funny bit is
great.
He really believed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's hope people keep saying stuff like that when they think it. That was the Final Five for this week.